Lesson number 3, life is so unpredictable. No matter how much I think I got this thing called life figured out, I don't. Things happen unexpectedly, at random. Sometimes it scares me, but at the same time, it excites me. From grieving the loss of a family member almost every year, to graduating with my Bachelor's of Science from Full Sail University. Lately though, my life is like Mario 64. I'm really showing my age here. Before you collect enough stars to face Bowser, you run up an endless staircase. And that's my life right now. An endless staircase of BS every time something positive happens. And when I think I'm about to make it to the top of the stairs, it's another set of stairs. I'm really running like Mario. No matter what though, I learned to let life throw its punches, block, and wait to strike back. Because I always strike back. But I'm cautious, because life loves to counter. I don't know how I managed to go from Mario to boxing, but somehow I feel like it works.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Yash, and I'm back again with another video. That whole intro was shot using my A7iii, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. Is this camera still worth purchasing in 2024? I'm gonna talk about when it was released, some of the specs, even though I ain't a big spec head, you feel me? Talk about the pros and cons, what type of photos you can get out of this thing, what type of videos you can get out of this thing. But enough of me talking, let's get into it, you feel me? So this camera came out April 10th, 2018. That's 6 years ago. So you wouldn't think this camera would still stack up today, but surprisingly, it does. And let me show you some of the specs. Even though I don't know all the specs, because I ain't a big spec head, I had to look on B&H website. I'm on B&H website trying to check out the specs. So let's see what's going on here. 24 megapixel full frame sensor, 693 point hybrid autofocus system, Ultra HD up to 4K 30, video with HLG3 and S-Log3 gammas. 2.36 million dot true finder OLED EVF, 5-axis steady shot inside stabilization. The ISO go up to a ridiculously crazy number that you would never ever have to use. And it shoots 10 frames per second. I ain't gonna lie, that's a lot of specs, but that don't really mean nothing if you don't know what none of those specs mean. So let me just show you some real world examples of this camera. I'm gonna show you some videos and some photos. And I'll come back and chat it over with y'all with the pros and cons. You feel me? Now you see what the photo and videos look like on this camera. Now let's talk about the price, because that's the most important part when purchasing any camera. And I got my phone out because I'm about to go right back on B&H and tell y'all these numbers, because I don't want to freestyle nothing. So if you get this camera new, it's $1,700. You might as well just say $18,000. What? $1,800. You feel me? You could get this camera new. So now used is $1,300. And at that price point, I honestly feel like it should be a little cheaper. Honestly, it should be a little cheaper. I feel like for it being 6 years old, I think because it's a full frame, that's probably the only reason why it's still that high. So I feel like it's better cameras you probably could get out there at that price point. But with the photos, you can't beat it. At full frame, you cannot beat it. I love the photos off this thing. I love the video that come out of this thing. It's perfect for me, honestly. But if I was you, I would buy it used. I definitely would not buy it new. If you was thinking about getting this camera, buy it used. Do not buy it. Let's talk about the pros and cons for a second, because it's definitely hand in hand with that. You feel me? So now, when it comes to the picture side, pictures on this thing is the best. You know what I mean? Not compared to some of the newer models, obviously, but for a camera that's 6 years old, that's the same age as some people kids right now, or older than some people kids, that camera is a beast when it comes to photos. You will not be disappointed. Every photo will look beautiful. It could be sharp. If you got the right lens, that is. It would be beautiful, it would be sharp. Another pro is the form factor. The body is not that big, So it's like you could easily put this in any type of bag. You could travel with this. You could get it on a strap, put it on a strap. So the camera is really good in those terms of traveling. Another pro is the video on this camera will surprise you, because you would think that 8-bit footage is not good, but 8-bit footage is actually pretty good on this camera. Shooting on S-Log2 and HLG3 is the recommended profiles for this. I would not recommend using S-Log3 because that 8-bit footage, you could ruin it pretty quickly in the editing room. So I wouldn't suggest using that. The cons is it do not have a flip out screen. So now this camera just come at you. So now if you film yourself, it can get real difficult. And the app that you use to connect to this camera is not really the best. I use it all the time, and it kind of frustrates me all the time. I'm not even gonna lie. So sometimes I just say, fuck it. If I get the focus, I get the focus. And then the 8-bit footage, I feel like that's another con, especially being used to using a camera like this, the FX6, and have the 10-bit footage, and just using 10-bit is just perfect. It's just color grading is so lovely. I could push things as far as I want. And I don't gotta worry about it cracking like I do with the A7 III. Another con is it don't have eye tracking, autofocus, and video. So you gotta nail your focus, or you could tap on the screen to get focus. It's called a spot focus. That's what they called it back then. It works good, but if you film it yourself, it ain't gonna really work for you at all. You know what I mean? Especially running in and out the camera, and you probably best use a manual focus. So in the end, if you get this camera, I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I know the cons list may have been a little bit longer than the pros, but if you got the money to get this thing used, then I would suggest that you get this thing used, and I promise you won't be disappointed. Overall though, I love this camera. When I first purchased it, 2 years ago, it was my best camera. I mean, it was the only camera I really had. I would say this camera is for somebody that just looking for that entry-level full-frame camera, even though it's not really an entry-level price. For photos, it's a great learning experience for video. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you think about getting. You think about getting an A7 III? Just comment below, let me know. So I hope this video helped you out with your decision. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.